The story begins with a 19-year-old girl named Yoon. She lives a happy life with her mother, who cannot hear or speak. Yoon tries hard to teach her mother to talk, so that if she ever goes out alone, she can communicate with others. Yoon's father passed away many years ago. Now, the family is made up of only the mother and daughter, who rely on each other. Despite their poor financial condition, they live happily. Yoon's mother loves rice cakes, so every day when she returns from school, Yoon makes sure to bring some for her mother. On the other hand, Yoon loves cosmos flowers very much. Her mother always plucks cosmos flowers and gives them to her. Both of them find happiness in these small things. However, Yoon stops her mother from plucking flowers because she believes that flowers also feel pain. Both of them work to manage the household expenses. Yoon's mother works in a garment factory, and Yoon has a part-time job at a cafe. Her mother feels sad seeing her work at such a young age. She always advises her daughter to stop working, reminding her that they've already paid off the debt taken during her father's illness. But Yoon doesn't want to trouble her mother, so she just laughs it off. Yoon's mother has asthma, so she orders various herbal teas online to help her feel better. One day, Yoon's school friends visit her workplace. It is then revealed that Yoon has stopped going to school. However, to avoid raising any suspicion from her mother, she leaves the house in her school uniform. Apart from this, it is also revealed that Yoon is preparing for the government job exam. Although she couldn't pass this year, she plans to attempt the exam again next year with full preparation. On the other hand, Yoon's friends are very supportive. They encourage her and even buy her the necessary books. One day, upon hearing that her mother had injured her finger at work, Yoon runs to her in tears. One of her mother's colleagues had taken her to the hospital and looked after her, for which Yoon gratefully thanks him. The next day, Yoon's mother is seen smiling while looking at her daughter's photo. The same colleague comes by and says that her daughter is very beautiful. Yoon's mother reads his lips, laughs, and replies in sign language that she looks just like her father. But the man couldn't understand anything she said. He assumed she might not be able to hear or comprehend what he was saying. Thinking this, he boldly says that Yoon has grown up now and recommends marrying her to him. He adds that no one else can make her as happy as he can. Saying this, he starts laughing. But Yoon's mother understood everything, and in anger she slapped the man hard. His intentions were truly mean and disgusting. He had been eyeing Yoon with bad intentions ever since he first saw her. Later that day, the man went to Yoon's workplace and stared at her feet with a filthy gaze. Even after returning home, he couldn't get Yoon out of his mind, especially since he was drunk. On the other hand, Yoon was running late from work that day. The streets were empty, and taking advantage of the situation, the man began following her. After a while, Yoon sensed that someone was behind her. Nervous, she quickened her pace. The man chased after her and eventually grabbed her from behind. He dragged her into a secluded corner of a field and assaulted her, driven by his twisted desires. But the man was so vile that even after committing such a horrific act, he looked Yoon straight in the eyes and threatened her, saying that if she told anyone, he would do the same to her mother. Meanwhile, Yoon's mother grew anxious as her daughter hadn't returned home late into the night. Worried, she went out to search for her. When the man spotted Yoon's mother alone in a deserted area, twisted and sinful thoughts once again crept into his mind. He gets up and starts walking toward Yoon's mother. Yoon, already enduring unbearable pain and horror, sees the same vile intentions in his eyes, this time for her mother. Summoning her last bit of strength, she rises, grabs a nearby stone, and strikes the man hard on the head. The blow proves fatal, and the wicked man dies on the spot from the injury. In the next scene, Yoon finds herself under arrest for murder. The police discover no clear evidence that she acted in self-defense. Even if the police believe her statement, the law requires proof. As a result, the case is no longer considered self-defense, but is now classified as murder. To save Yoon, her lawyer suggested that she go out in public, join a women's organization, and fight for her rights. But Yoon disagreed. She didn't want anyone to know anything about her. She didn't want to be looked at with sympathy, as if she were a helpless, poor woman. Ever since her birth, people had looked at her that way, and she couldn't bear it anymore. She explained the same thing to her mother. With no other options left, both mother and daughter cried helplessly. A few days later, the day of the hearing arrives. Due to a lack of evidence, the court sentences Yoon to 5 years in prison for the crime of murder. Upon hearing the verdict, Yoon's mother begs with folded hands, then hugs her daughter and cries so much that everyone present becomes teary-eyed. Later in prison, Yoon was taken to her room, where 5 other women were already living, all serving their sentences. As soon as Yoon entered, one of the girls began beating her badly, just because Yoon's body had slightly touched her while entering the room. Seeing Yoon getting beaten up, the other inmates step in and stop the girl. That whole night, Yoon cries a lot, thinking about her mother. This is the first time she has ever been away from her. The next morning, all the inmates eat together. They aren't as bad as Yoon had thought. Each of them has their own story, but one of them stands out. She's wearing different clothes, a pink uniform unlike the others. When Yoon asked her, she replied that she is the best prisoner in the entire prison. Among them, there is also a senior inmate named Seok-jeong, whom everyone calls Big Sister. Noticing that Yoon isn't eating, Seok-jeong gently explains that, in time, she will get used to living there. She tells Yoon that if she doesn't eat, she won't have the strength to work. The inmates also tell her that they get paid for the work they do inside the prison. When Yoon found out that the highest-paying job in prison was in repair work, she decided to take it. Although the job was very difficult, she still chose to do it. After some time, all the prisoners left for their assigned work. There, a woman kept staring at Yoon, as she was young and beautiful. While taking attendance, the prison officer, noticing that Yoon was new, told her that her prisoner number was 2037. At the end of the workday, when everyone had gathered, Yoon asked the prison officer when she would receive her payment. Hearing this, the officer snapped at her, saying she wouldn't get any money. She scolded Yoon harshly and reminded her that she was just a prisoner. That night, while all the other prisoners are asleep, Yoon sits in a corner, quietly crying. Seok-jeong comes over to her and tells her that she is in prison for killing 5 people. She explains that she once had a son who was killed by a drunk man driving a car. In revenge, Seok-jeong burned the man's entire family alive. She admits that she deeply regrets what she did. She advises Yoon to express her feelings openly, saying it's the only way to find peace. During their conversation, we also learn that Seok-jeong has been sentenced to death, and the date is drawing near. After listening to Seok-jeong, Yoon writes a letter to her mother. In the letter, she tells her mother that she is doing fine and tells her not to worry. From that day on, Yoon slowly begins trying to adjust to life in prison. She gradually learns the work and starts interacting more freely with the other women in her room. A few days later, Yoon's mother comes to visit her, bringing her favorite food. But the guard tells her that outside food is not allowed inside, as it could cause trouble for Yoon. She is very happy to see her daughter after such a long time. Yoon also becomes very emotional upon hearing her name spoken by her mother, even though her mother is mute. Both of them begin to cry while looking at each other. The lust of an unknown man had destroyed a once happy and cheerful family. The next morning, Yoon's health worsens, and she is unable to get out of bed. After consulting a doctor, she finds out that she is pregnant. Hearing this news, Yoon is shocked. After the most horrific and painful incident of her life, she had been trying to move on, but life had brought her back to the same place. The person who ruined her life is the one whose child she is now carrying. Without thinking of anything else, she just wants to escape from the prison, hug her mother, and scream at the top of her lungs. She runs toward the gate and tries to open it, crying loudly and calling out for her mother. Seeing Yoon's condition, the police immediately stop her and lock her in a dark room. After a few moments, Yoon's roommates also find out about her pregnancy. They all become very worried for Yoon, because she is too young to become a mother. And secondly, the child is that of the same man. The next day, Seok-jeong places Yoon's head in her lap and lovingly tells her that, no matter the situation, she will have to face it with strength. Seok-jeong takes care of Yoon and brings her back to the room. After some time, the same girl who had beaten Yoon on the first day strikes her again and demands to know why she is carrying the raped child in her stomach. Then the other inmates arrive and stop her from beating Yoon. It turns out that the girl's behavior has been shaped by her own circumstances, and her story is similar to Yoon's. Days continue to pass, and Yoon stops meeting her mother, thinking that if her mother finds out, she will be worried about her. Her mother comes to see her every day, but Yoon refuses to meet her. Yoon's mother becomes very upset, unable to understand why her daughter is pushing her away. One day, some female prisoners from the other room came and started threatening Yoon. Meanwhile, a woman approached her and told her to go with her to the bathroom. The woman had been attracted to Yoon since the first day and wanted to take her there to sexually abuse her. But at that very moment, Soon Jae arrived and started threatening the prisoner by pulling her hair. She told the woman that even if she committed one more murder there, her punishment would still be death. From that day onward, everyone began keeping their distance from Yoon out of fear. As the days go by, Yoon finds herself unable to bear the burden of the pregnancy. One day, she tries to injure her stomach with a piece of glass. The same angry girl, seeing this, starts shouting at her. She says that she had warned Yoon not to keep the child and not to kill herself. Everyone comes together and advises Yoon that she could seek help from the media, as the public might be able to help her. They point out that spending 5 years in jail at such a young age would only waste the precious time of her life. But Yoon refuses to agree. Even though she is willing to waste 5 years here, she cannot bring herself to live the rest of her life feeling ashamed by exposing herself to the whole world like this. Now, the only option left is to send a request for a retrial to the court. Who knows, the judge might decide in her favor. Due to Yoon's pregnancy, she has been relieved from hard labor and assigned lighter duties, such as managing medicines brought from outside. Although she doesn't meet her mother, she writes letters to her from time to time, telling her not to worry. Her mother always becomes emotional upon reading Yoon's letters. One day, while working, Yoon suddenly experiences unbearable stomach pain. Upon examination, it is found that Yoon is 6 months pregnant. Though her stomach doesn't appear that big, the baby is still very small in size but perfectly healthy. Hearing the baby's heartbeat, Yoon started crying because the truth was that she had been taking a kind of medicine to kill her child, which she had been hiding from the staff bringing things from outside. Upon returning to the room, everyone asked her what the doctor had said. Yoon shared with them that she was 6 months pregnant and told them everything. From the next day onward, everyone started taking extra care of her, ensuring that she didn't have to do any work. Days passed, and the day of the retrial finally arrived. The judge gave Yoon a chance to say her final words. Yoon began by stating that she was the one who killed the man. She said that whether anyone believed her or not, she knew the terrible things that man had done to her. She also added that she was ready to serve the punishment for it. She could serve a sentence of 5 or even 10 years, but she only asked that someone take care of her mother. Yoon cried in front of everyone as she finished her words. After listening to everything Yoon had to say, the judge decided to cancel her original sentence of 5 years and give her a reduced sentence of just 1 year. Upon hearing the decision, smiles appeared on the faces of everyone present. After this, days began passing by, and slowly, Yoon's belly started to grow. Everyone took great care of her. One day, she told her roommate that she was very eager to see a cosmos flower. She shared that her mother always used to bring them for her. Since they couldn't go outside to get flowers, that night, everyone quietly got up one by one and filled the entire bathroom with drawings of cosmos flowers. When Yoon woke up in the morning and saw the surprise, she became very happy. She loved the gesture and was deeply touched by it. In the next scene, we see everyone secretly making socks and clothes for Yoon's baby by cutting up their own clothes, as no other materials are available in prison. Not only that, they've even chosen a name for the baby. Whether it's a boy or a girl, the child will be named Boni, which means to protect the weak. And most surprisingly, the same angry girl brought materials from her workplace and made a toy for the baby. Happiness and kindness exist in everyone's heart, but life has inflicted so many wounds that their hearts had turned to stone. Yet with the joy of the baby's arrival, everyone has slowly started to change. One day, when everyone had gone to work, Yoon was alone in the room. Suddenly, she started experiencing labor pains. Somehow, she placed the letters she had written for her roommates into their drawers. And then she took a medicine and lay down on the floor. When the others returned after finishing their work, they found Yoon lying unconscious on the floor. Everyone panicked and began crying as they tried to lift her up. The guards were called immediately, and Yoon was rushed to the hospital. Even after a long time, Yoon didn't regain consciousness. The doctors urged her to push, warning that both her life and the baby's were at risk. But Yoon still wasn't responding, unwilling to try. Somehow, the doctors managed to save the baby, but Yoon's condition remained critical. Meanwhile, back in the prison, everyone found the letters Yoon had left for them. In the letter, she wrote that she didn't know whether she would survive, and that's why she was leaving a goodbye message. Yoon thanked each of them for the love and care they had shown her. After reading the letter, everyone became deeply emotional. On the other hand, Yoon's mother was also informed that her daughter had been admitted to the hospital. She rushed there immediately, only to find Yoon still unconscious. After so many months, a mother finally saw her daughter, but in such a condition. She hugged Yoon tightly to her chest and cried for a long time, unable to control herself. Then, the movie shifts to a scene in a beautiful Cosmos flower garden, where a little girl is laughing and playing, full of joy with her family. She is none other than Yoon's daughter, now adopted by another family. In the next scene, we see Yoon's mother ironing clothes. Beside her lies a certificate for a government job interview. Suddenly, someone calls out to her, "Mom!" She turns toward the voice and smiles warmly. The movie doesn't reveal who called her mom. Was it Yoon, now recovered and returned home? Or did Yoon's mother, broken by the grief of losing her daughter, begin to imagine things? The film ends with this emotional suspense.